seat. Our girl Tam Tam is out today. I'm gonna keep her seat warm because she will be back tomorrow. But we have an amazing guest, co-host, who's with us all week long. You know her from the hit VH1 series, Basketball Wives. Give it up for Evelyn Lozada! Evelyn, girl, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited.
Are you?
I am.
Great.
I'm super excited.
You know how to keep it 100, right?
I know how to keep it 100.
Yep.
A little 200.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. I love
How have you been doing?
I've been doing so good. I'm starting to come out of my cocoon that I've been in a couple of years, so I've been good.
Okay. Well, we get happy that you're joining us. Are you ready for some girl chat?
I'm ready for some girl chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Evelyn, girl, we've known each other for a while.
Yes.
And there's something I want to ask. Now, all week long, you've been teasing the big announcement on IG and social media, so everyone is dying to know, including myself. What is it? And this is the real, so it's the perfect time. What's the big announcement?
The announcement is that I'm coming back to Basketball Wives.
I love it.
I know. I know what everyone's thinking. Everyone's like, is she going crazy? This is, her going backwards. But I've had several conversations with Shawnee about this, and we just really want to change the direction of the show. I feel like a lot of the arguments and a lot of the storylines are kind of, have been done before. And
they're non-factor?
Yeah, non-factor. I mean, I'm like, I should be getting a check every time somebody says non-factor. But, we really want to add substance and depth to the show. We want to discuss, we want to talk about things that women really deal with, miscarriages, having a baby after 20 years, being a grandparent, whatever it is. We just really want to be able to add substance and depth to storylines. I want you so when...
Yeah, that's awesome.
My goal, I told her, my goal in all of this is once you're done watching the show that you feel like, I actually learned something today, And that's really what I want for the franchise. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for my little shenanigans on Basketball Wives many years ago.
Right.
But I want to show people that you can change and that you become a better person and all that good stuff. So the
awesome.
new improved Evelyn is coming back.
I love it. I'm excited. I'll be tuning in.
I am so excited. We are so excited to have you here all week with us. So we're going to get
you.
that new and improved started, all
That's
right?
right. Let's do it.
Up next, there is a new trend in childcare that's growing at a rapid pace, hiring a Manny. Hiring a Manny or a male nanny to watch your kids is growing in popularity all over the world. Mannies are especially popular with single mothers who want a male role model around the house. Now, traditional parents claim they want a female nanny to watch their kids. So, Evelyn, how do you feel? Would you ever hire a Manny?
I would never hire a Manny. And first of all, I would never. I have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old stepdaughter, and I can't even imagine having a Manny giving her baths and doing these type of intimate, personal things with your children. I'd rather have a nanny that is like 60, right? Nobody that's looking cute being hired coming to my house. That's just the rule. But I would feel, that's just not for me.
But they're like nowadays the new Mannies, they're professionals. They're certified, background checked. And for single mothers, this seems to be working for them. I would just try to hire one, even though I don't have no kids. So I'm like,
can you take care of me?
Yeah. I'm not mad at the idea of empowering the maternal instinct in men. Not only do I think that's a very necessary quality, not everybody's blessed with 2 parents, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's okay to show that if you can take care of children, you are even more of a man than to just leave it up to a woman. You know what I mean? There's still men today that are like, oh, that's her job.
There are actually some men that are more nurturing than women. If I'm honest, I think naturally, granted, I'm not a mother yet and is a parent, but even with my nieces, like the way is more nurturing. So I think it is possible for a man to do this role and do it really well.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hope.
It is
they're hiring them.
I have a friend
But you said you just don't feel comfortable.
No, I think it's possible, but just for my personal preference, no. I'd rather have someone that's older, woman.
Older.
That's just my personal preference.
I wonder if it's because you're thinking about this. I have a friend who's a counselor at an elementary school, and he refuses to be in a setting even like if the door's closed with a child or like some of the older, girls, just because he says men are always the first to be pegged with inappropriate assumptions.
Right.
And so I thought about that and I was like, dang, that really sucks to just have to always look out for that. Is that something that in the back of your mind you're worried about?
Always.
For being honest.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And just having girls, I think that's really my worry in all of that. I mean, my sister's helping me now with my son, so I feel even, more secure about, his well-being.
That's good.
It's not like family is helping you, but that's not always the case.
My first choice will always be family.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually not a fan of hiring anybody that isn't my family. Like
I
I
hear
would
you.
mainly, that I say my mom, even my nieces, it's my
Always
aunt, my dad, like family takes care of kids. I don't know if that's a Latina thing or like, you brought your sister here.
Right.
But for me, for some people, the Manny thing can be really sensitive. For some folks, like growing up, my mom was molested by someone in her family, and I grew up knowing that. And from a really young age, my mom told me what had happened to her and her story, and she made me really aware of male interaction, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and that it was okay to talk about. But she even would say, she even went pretty extreme sometimes where I wasn't allowed to sleep over friends' houses who had fathers. If you were one of my friends in school and you were having a sleepover, my mom would say, well, is there a man in the house? And if there was, I was not allowed to sleep over their house. I was not, my dad didn't bathe me. Men in my family were not allowed to change my diapers. And I get it that made my mom feel like she was protecting me. And when you've been through something like that, that's your main thing is to protect your child so that thing never happens to them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think for young little girls that have experienced that or a mother, I could see the concern about a Manny.
I just think in general, because women can touch kids too.
Very
and
true.
I think in general, I like the fact that, when you say, you like to have someone in your family, you like
sister.
older,
Yes.
I go with that route. But I just, because I'm not a parent, but I have so many nieces and nephews, and we've ran into that type of situation where it was both.
Yeah.
So you have to talk to your children.
Yes.
You have to communicate with them. Even if they're not able to talk yet.
Right.
Look,
gotta
check them out.
But you have to check, and teach them to
Yeah.
be vocal.
Well, even now, my son is 2.5.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk about it now. I'm like, no one is supposed to touch your pee-pee. Anybody touches it, you tell mama. Like, I want him to feel super comfortable to talk to me about
right.
anything.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I did it with my daughter, Shanice.
Yeah.
Like, we had open conversations from early on. And then once she started high school, then we started discussing, boys.
Yeah.
And so she's 23 now, no kids, great girl. So I feel like having those open conversations with your kids are so important.
That is so cool.
Right.
Again, all Mannies are not bad. There are some great men out there. Not everybody's gonna do that, but it is great to be cautious.
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
nothing's wrong with that. So
Yeah, well, speaking of babies, somebody who's been acting like one lately is pop star Justin Bieber. During a London concert this week, Bieber started raging against Instagram, saying that Instagram was, quote, for the devil, and that, quote, hell is Instagram. Bieber also complained about constantly getting stuck in the DMs and that he has no desire to get back on Instagram anywhere, anytime in the near future. Evelyn, you've got 2.7 million Instagram followers. Do you agree with Justin?
I don't let a lot of that stuff bother me. I didn't even know I had DMs for such a long time.
Either.
I was like, no, seriously, Carl was like, yeah, I heard that song, it goes down in the DMs. I'm like, it doesn't go down in my DMs. I don't even know what's going on in my DMs.
Well, my question is, does Justin know that you can turn your DMs off?
I feel like, again, we've talked about Justin before. We've talked about how much he may be going through because a lot of things he's saying kind of shows the things that he's aggravated with. So let's be honest. Until social media, we didn't realize how much ugly there was in the world.
Yeah.
Let's be real. There's a lot of dark, there's a lot of hate, things that have always been there, but now it's brought to light more. So having social media is definitely not for the faintest of hearts. You gotta be strong. You gotta know who your core is because if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for everything.
Yeah.
You know?
but he at the concert. What is he talking about Instagram? Sing. Why is he?
Because because his concerts, like you as a comedian, your audience is your platform to say one message, and they're there to hear you.
No, he is there not to give, talking about Instagram is the devil, okay? He is there to sing, what is it, sorry, or whatever he's singing.
I love that
Sing
song.
that.
Yes, I do too. I guess as an
That's the name
artist,
of the
they're
song,
always
right?
gonna.
Yeah. Okay.
As an artist,
Yeah.
they're always
I got it.
emotionally,
Yeah.
you know, going through. They're always emotionally expressing themselves, right?
Yeah, and his audience are millennials who are the most influential and the most influenced
It's mighty
by
funny though.
social media.
Justin became famous because of social media. Don't try to dog
That's
it
true.
now, okay?
That's true.
You wasn't dogging it when you were on there, YouTube, and all of that. Don't do that.
And then I think that there's artists who you can tell they have their record label control their social media, so it's
You can
just
do that.
promotional work or like advertisements or pictures that you're celebrating, things that are approved. So I think that's a smart way to go about it, so your fans know what's up, but then you don't feel like they're all up in your zone about your girlfriend or who you're dating or what you eating that day,
Yeah,
right?
Or
Yeah, I think some of his female, I mean, obviously, I think his fan base is mostly young girls and girls that are crazy with the Biebs, but,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, they were really going in on his girlfriends,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
he
gosh.
was really affected by that because I'm sure he has some super crazy fans, but I mean, you could turn your comments off now, right?
Yes, yes.
I was so happy. I haven't used it yet, but I was like, wow, that's such a great
Yeah, but
thing.
the comments are so juicy.
But that's okay.
People are
That's
crazy.
the point. That's where the devil part comes in,
Yeah,
Jeannie,
it is.
because they become so juicy and so salacious with people saying negative things, and you almost read the comments, and yes, sometimes they can be funny where you're like, oh, this gets good. But you have to think about the other person on the other end whose Instagram account it is.
But it's not always negative. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
And
but a
now
lot of the time it is,
But now on
girl.
Instagram, you can filter out certain words so
Yes.
that those comments don't come up. I think it wasn't so much the negative. I think that he was getting hit up with a lot of girls. And I think that's what he's talking about. That's the devil.
You
Because,
could
you
get
know, it's
caught up.
hard sometimes
Yes.
to see him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now, if we're gonna really go there on that
Yes.
tip, you really think about it. Let's not forget when Justin put it out there. He took a picture of a girl, a really beautiful young girl, and said, "Who is this?" Somebody like
Right.
show
Yeah,
me
I
who that
remember
person
that.
is. So he kind of like dug a hole and asked for it. It's kind of like that
Exactly.
phrase that they say: "If you make your bed, you better be able to lay in it."
Yeah, because it did allow him to have that little love match, a little
Yes.
connection that he was able to find the girl on
Yes.
social media.
Yeah. I meet dudes all the time on social media. They ain't the
true?
devil to me, you know.
Ooh, I met my ex-husband on social media.
Huh?
That lasted 43 days, so you can shows you what.
Wait, no, I want to know how.
Yeah. Well,
What happened?
I mean, you know, it was so short.
He watches
I don't
the
even
show.
remember.
I
It
just
was
want
on
you to
Twitter
know that.
or-
He
It was on
watches it.
Twitter. Yes, it was on Twitter.
How? What
And,
happened? Because
Yeah, all the good stuff.
It
What
was a DM. It was instant message.
Yeah,
I guess
yes.
it was on Twitter.
Yeah, it's still direct message.
And
on
then this
Twitter.
is when I was, on Basketball Wives, and he sent, a message, and then who knew that we were gonna end up being married for 43 days? So.
Who sent a
Wow.
nasty pic first?
He did.
No, there was no nasty pics. You couldn't send pictures back then. It was just
Yeah,
messages.
you
Yeah, it was just messages.
just
This
hooked
was
you
a
up.
long time ago. This was like, 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
Wow. Well, he watches the show, so hey, I got your girl here.
I'm done.
Oh my God.
What do you
love
tell
that.
your children about social media?
You know what? Well, gosh,
especially
I
your
can't.
23-year-old.
I feel
She's
like
beautiful.
she handles it very, very well. She's so mature. She doesn't. I even look at her pictures and I'm like, why did you post that? I think you should take that down. But she handles it really, really well. My son, I feel like I'm going to be too old. I mean, I'm 40. He's 2, so. When he's 20, I'm gonna be 60? Like I'm gonna be so lost in the sauce.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what.
Lost
But I'm
in
gonna
the sauce.
Lost in the sauce.
But okay, question: how do you feel about posting Leo on social media?
You know, I'm very strategic. I don't post 1,000,001 pictures of him at all.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if it's, for the holidays or, a birthday
Something
party,
cute.
but I mean, not all the time. He doesn't have his own Instagram page. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I hardly post pictures of my fiance. I'm very, very private when it comes to my man and my kids. And I'll show a picture from time to time just because, my followers are, how's your son doing? Like people who genuinely care.
Right.
So I'll post a picture of him.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I keep things pretty on the
that's
low.
good.
I
I
like
try.
that on the low, though. We're just
Yeah,
gonna
on the
expose
low,
everything
though.
here on the real.